Alright, this is a really quick video on the confirmation of my trade plan strategy. I was talking with somebody recently on Facebook and just wanted to explain to them that it really is quite simple. The only difficult part is that trading this strategy on the RSI plus 34 and the MACD crossover just requires discipline and patience, which human emotions always get involved. But I have a ticker symbol DUST, which is one of the ETFs that I always trade, and I wanted to go back a couple of days to explain a little bit of things that I look for. Obviously, in my study plan, if you want to pause the video here, I have VWAP, Ichimoku with standard, settings on them, Bollinger Bands. I just changed the colors and it got them a little bit tighter. RSI crossover, one thing I did change on this on RSI was that I changed the color to above is a bright yellow, so it shows up, and I want the threshold for oversold to be 34, and I basically want it to tell me that when the stock moves below the RSI of 34, I want it to be considered oversold, and then I want it to signal a yellow arrow on the chart when it goes in the upward trend. So basically, a couple days ago on Dust, this is a great example of a couple different signals, and I'll show you what happened today on multiple time frame alignment. When the stock opened, or actually when the market opened, what you'll see is that you've got obviously the increase in volume, but you've got the MACD basically in a positive manner. But what you have is you have the continuation on a 15-minute chart that it's on a downward trend. So even though on a 5-minute trend chart the trend was bullish, the majority, or the primary one, the one that I use as a primary, is the 15-minute chart, which is basically a slower chart. The trend was continuing downward. The MACD was still in the red on the histogram, and you've got this downward trend from 627 all the way to 555. So you've got this primary push on the 15-minute chart is bearish. You've got the secondary trend, which obviously it will trade in between on a 15-minute trend. Each one of these bars is 5 minutes, so 5 of these represents one of these bars here. So the 5 of these histogram bars on the 5-minute chart represent one of these on the 15-minute chart. So you've got to look at the overall big picture and say, okay, overall, there's money to be made on a 5-minute chart, but if you really want to avoid big losses and big gambles on your trade with the 15-minute chart. Trade with it. Yeah, you could have got in here and you could have made a little bit of money, but there's not a whole lot of push. Why? Well, because the 5-minute chart, a shorter time span, is bullish, but the longer time span is bearish. So I wait for the 15-minute to finish its bearish trend and start moving towards the bullish, and then I look for another entry on the 5-minute chart coupled with the 1-minute chart. I know it's a lot to understand, but you've got to understand that would you rather be in a trade where you're fighting against the stream, or do you want to fight, or do you want to ride with the stream? It's easier to ride the stream down than it is to swim up it. And if you can get the 15-minute, the 5-minute, and the 1-minute to work in your favor, you've got this huge surge of basically trend that's working in your favor and is going to get you out of the green faster or out of the red faster and in the green. So hopefully you understand that. Okay, so first thing I noticed was that it broke pre-market low of 558. We've got a signal here on the 5-minute chart for a buy, but at 10:30, okay, the 15-minute chart was not done yet. So even though we got a nice little pop here from 554 to 566, and you could have made 10 cents on that, it wasn't necessarily the best entry. I don't remember if I traded that or not, but I'm pretty sure that I didn't, because right up here, very thin Ichimoku cloud, and we weren't getting the crossover. And one of my things I recommended on the video was that do not enter the trade when you see a RSI crossover signal, buy signal appear, and you don't see these convergence and divergence lines cross. If they don't cross, then the trend is not over with. It's basically like we call it a dead cat bounce. It's a false buying signal. I talked about that extensively. So because the lines had not crossed, And the reason why they didn't cross is because we were still in this 15-minute downward trend. So you've got to always watch the 15-minute trend. Once you find the 15-minute or the 5-minute entry, then you move to the 1 minute to find out exactly to the penny where you're going to enter. Okay, so let's move the time scale on a little bit longer, and we see this breakdown, and we see another buy signal. Okay, see breakdown and another buy signal. Now we didn't get a buy signal on the 15-minute chart, but something that you'll notice, right, is right at this point, the red histogram is finished getting darker, and yes, it hasn't moved down below it, but we're hitting lows of the days. So you got to always remember that as well. So because we got a buy signal here on the 5-minute chart, right around $5.50, psychological $half mark, and if I move it over just a little bit more, boom, look at that. MACD crossover, right at, let's see the time here. MACD crossover at 12:25. So at 12:25, we got a MACD crossover. Let's go ahead and look over here. MACD crossover on 12:25. I don't remember if it was this day. Yeah, basically. All right, so let's go back here. 12:25, got the MACD crossover. Okay, and then the trend on the 15-minute ends at 12. Okay, so right at 12, okay, we are flat in a channel. We've got a buy signal here, so you could have got in at 550 once it broke 555. Okay, a little bit of sideways chop action, but anticipation that because this bearish trend is finished and you're getting another MACD crossover from the red to the green on the 15-minute chart, we're gonna get what I call a multiple time frame MACD crossover. Multiple time frame MACD crossover. And what that means is that right here on both the charts, right around 11:40, right around 12 o'clock, right in this area, you're getting a crossover on the 5-minute chart, and you're getting a crossover on the MACD on the 15-minute chart. And there's the other important thing. When we broke the Ichimoku cloud on the 5-minute chart here at 575, we also broke the Ichimoku cloud on the 15-minute chart. So not only are we in bullish territory on the MACD, we're in bullish territory on the Ichimoku cloud, we're in bullish territory on the 5-minute, and on the MACD on the 5-minute chart. So you've got all these things that are basically screaming at you, bouncing off the low for the day, breaking through the VWAP. Buy this stock now at 560, 555 is your buy point. And if it doesn't work out and it breaks below 548, it's going to continue to downtrend again. So then you get out. So if you buy at 555 and you get out at 540 and you're on 1,000 shares, you're down $150. Or you're down $100 if you stop out at 548. Very, very low risk to reward ratio. So you get in here in this sideways consolidation with anticipation with the fact that it just bounced off the lower Bollinger Band line, with anticipation of the fact that we're done with the MACD bearish trend on the 5-minute chart, with anticipation that we're done with the 5-minute or the 15-minute bearish trend. We're bouncing back off of MACD crossover. We're hitting VWAP. We have off the low of the days. I mean, I know all these variables are coming in, but I just want to show you what happens when we hit all those different variables. Watch what happens. It soars to the sky. There's nothing here preventing it from stopping. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, well, this is just one trade. That would just be a 1 in a million years trade. Yeah, but if you know what you're looking for and you know why you're getting into it, that would have been an amazing trade. So we had 5-minute alignment and the 15-minute alignment. And when you have both of those streams working with you together at the same exact time, you get all this bullish buying power. All that, maybe from a 550 all the way up to a 627. That's a 70-cent move off 1,000 shares. That's $700. And there's absolutely no sign in here or no indication at all whatsoever that it is done. It's still riding the upper Bollinger Band line, and we continue to get consistent movement on the MACD, consistent movement on RSI. Let me take you what happened today on the 5-minute chart. Today, we basically had 3 buy signals. I'm going to ignore this one right here because it happened at 5 minutes to the market closing. Okay, the overall trend today was bearish. However, right here, 5-minute chart, buy signal. We don't buy it though. Why? MACD has not crossed over. We're not finished with the 15-minute trend on the downward. See this downward trend from pre-market from the previous day all the way down? We're not done yet. Right here, 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. We got a buy signal at 12:05 on the 5-minute, and we got a buy signal at $12 or 12 o'clock on the 15-minute chart. Not only do we get a crossover here, but we get a crossover here. Multiple time frame alignments, multiple buy signals on multiple time frames. So you could have got in here at the new first 5-minute candle to make a new high at 570 and rode this all the way up to 612. There was no indication here, not a single red candle, that it was going to cause you to decide to get out of the trade at all whatsoever. Far away from the Ichimoku cloud. Actually broke through the Ichimoku cloud here as well. So this one right here would have been possible trade, but I wouldn't have taken it because it didn't get the crossover.